this video, I'll be showing you what you need to get started with your embroidery project. You'll learn how to cut and prep your fabric and mount it into the embroidery hoop, as well as how to thread your needle using the needle threader. Let's dive in. You're going to need your fabric and some scissors that can cut fabric, your thread, needle threader, embroidery needle, and hoop. So first, I'm going to set the thread aside and make space for my fabric. So the fabric has dotted lines that you're going to cut along to separate out the three projects. And all you need to do this is just literally cut along the dotted line. It's okay if it's not perfect because you have plenty of extra space around your projects for finishing the work. So you're going to set aside projects 2 and 3 to make later. And start with your sampler and your embroidery hoop. You can embroider without embroidery hoops, but embroidery hoops definitely are helpful tools for when you're just getting started. And they work by cinching the fabric in between the 2 layers of the hoop, and then you tighten it using this knob here, or turning this knob. Position it by taking the round piece that has not got the tensioner and move it behind your fabric so that the fabric is as centrally positioned as you can be, with the stitches having a little bit of space on these edges here and over here. It's okay if the text is a little closer to the edges because you're not going to be stitching on the text. And go ahead and put the hoop, the outside hoop, over the inside hoop. You can loosen it quite a bit if you need to. And you will tighten that up now that your fabric is in there. Tighten it to where it's pretty comfortable, but you're still able to untighten it. Don't use like a wrench or something. It doesn't need to be that tight. Then you will further tighten the fabric in by pinching it between your thumb and forefinger and going around the edge of the embroidery hoop and just gently tugging. You're gonna want to tighten it kind of like a drum. Not so tight that you can't manipulate the fabric at all, but tight enough that when you're going to be stitching into it, it won't bend. So this is still a little bit loose. I'm going to tighten it a little bit more now that I've stretched my fabric a bit. And just like that. You can readjust it as you go, and if you see any puckers on the fabric surface, just continue to pull until they're out. And that's all you need to do to get your fabric ready to be stitched on. To thread your needle, you're going to grab your needle threader, your needle, and your tube of yarn and unravel about a yard of thread. You definitely don't need to measure it. You can do a little bit more if you want, or a little less, and cut your yarn. For our kits, Arounna designed the piece with a double width of yarn that's knotted once at the end. So that's what I'm going to be demonstrating for threading. This is not a universal way to thread a needle in terms of doubling the entire yarn length, but that's how this kit is made. So to use a needle threader, you take the tiny little piece of wire that you can see here, and you pass it through what's called the eye of the needle. So a needle has a tip, that's the pointy end, a shaft, that's the long piece here, and an eye and a butt. And you're going to slide the little piece of metal of the needle threader through the eye of the needle, like that, and then pass the end of your yarn through the little wire loop and just pull it through your threader, through the eye of the needle like that. If you lose track of your needle threader, you can also thread a needle by hand. The easiest way to do it is to pinch it between your fingers like that, and then take the eye of the needle and kind of wiggle it onto the yarn, and then pinch it through. So you will pull the yarn so that the two ends meet like this, and then get the end of the needle all the way to the opposite side so that they're equal lengths of yarn. And then to knot the end, we're going to do a loop around the tip of my finger like this. Take the tail and just pass it up over the pad of your finger and push it through that loop and give it a little tug. This is about 1 inch from the knot to the tip, and you don't need to do 2 knots. 1 is plenty to stop the yarn as you pull the needle through the fabric. And that's everything you need to do. You are now ready to start your sampler with the stitches in the following videos. Bye.